Hello and welcome to another edition of Soulivity Live, everyone. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I am so glad you joined us. It's Soulful Saturday. Now, we have such a great show for you today. We have astrologer Sonja Francis. We have author and Soulivity editor at large D'Angelo Thompson. And guess what? We are also announcing the winners of Soulivity's Book Club's first club giveaway. So we've got a lot to talk about indeed. Now, before I get into today's show, I want to once again thank our guest from last week, which is author and creative Jennifer Adams. We talked about her new book, Love Coming Home, and how we can create a home full of light and love where we feel energetic peace and harmony every single day. Now, if you missed it, you can see it by going to our website, soulivity.com, and watch it on Soulivity TV, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for your inspiration. So let's go and get into today's amazing show. Wow. Our first guest, Sonja Francis, is a certified astrologer. She's also a life relationship coach whose passion for connecting with people and helping them transform their lives is her passion. She says her goal is to empower people by providing a deeper understanding of themselves so they can come from a place of love rather than fear. And she definitely empower people, for she currently serves dozens of clients around the world. Now, this long life passion has led her to be interviewed for some of her astrological insight on several internet radio shows and writing articles for the National Council of Geocosmic Research quarterly journal, The Ingress. Now, in addition to sharing her fabulous online soul-based astrology curriculum, she is in the process of writing her first book. Wow, and I can't wait to read that. I'm sure that she is just getting started to help people live fuller, richer, and more rewarding lives. So it is with that I want to welcome to Soulivity Live, Sonja Francis. Hey, okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Wow, it's going great. I have been so excited. We connected weeks ago, and I was like, okay, I can't wait for this show because I know you have so much great information to share. Listen, everybody, we love your questions. I'm sure you're going to have a lot for Sonja as we go through this process.
Yeah.
So just post them to our live feeds on our social media platforms, and we're going to get to as many of them as we can. So, couple of quick questions for you first, Sonja, before we get into the nitty gritty of what's happening in our world. I read, as I said in the opener, this has been a lifelong passion for you.
Yes.
When did you begin this journey? When did you know that astrology and the beneficial effects and the knowledge of astrology was what you wanted to give people?
Well, at first it was more of a personal journey. It started in the early 90s. And then I started to get more and more deeper into it, learn more, study more, had mentors and, everything that I did. And then in 2005, I started to, I got a certification and I was like, you know what, this is something I want to do for other people because it's been so beneficial for me and my own life
Mm.
that I wanted to also support other people with it. And then in 2010, I started my website because I also became a life coach
Mm.
between 2005 and 2010. And so I wanted to combine, like giving people the tool of astrology to support them with that, but then also being able to go deeper on a more emotional level because, astrology is more of a mental tool where
Yeah.
you help people understand on a mental level what's going on. But with the life coaching, you also can go a little bit deeper and you can support people on a more emotional level. And it was important for me to combine the two because I
Yeah.
feel it's important to have, that full on approach, to
Yeah,
life.
and I really appreciate that, right? Because I think a lot of people look at astrology as this is just fortune telling, right? You know, like you're going to a carnival and you put the slot in there, and you know, oh well, the planets have aligned, and here you go. You know, it's way deeper than that. There is science to it. I mean, as you said, you had to get certified in the practice of astrology. Now, how does this process work? I know you were talking about you connecting the dots between doing astrology and life coaching.
Yes.
Are there steps, kind of basic steps that you kind of take people through?
Well, I usually start with a reading of their birth chart. And then once I have done a reading, then I can do a second session with them where we go a little bit deeper into some of the issues that we've discovered or that have shown up through the chart. And then we can start to address some of these issues on a more on a deeper level where I support people with more than just what the chart says, right? So
Right.
that way we can move through it together,
Wow,
rather than,
that's amazing. It's
yeah.
amazing. I mean, really, it is. I've had deep readings like that in my past that have been so eye-opening,
Yes.
where you really feel it, you resonate with it, and as you practice some of the guidance that you've been given, things just kind of miraculously happen,
Yeah.
and you find yourself being able to manifest the things that you want out of life a lot easier, right?
Absolutely.
Um, Now we were talking earlier about some of the things that are happening in the world.
Yeah.
And before we get into the details, give us the high level overview
Okay.
of like where things are happening. I mean, this is where I'm getting. You can see I'm like giddy, like whoa. Give us like that high level overview of what you're seeing.
Yeah. So 2020 is a very special year in that there is a lot of slow moving planets. So in astrology, you distinguish between personal planets and collective or universal planets
Hmm.
or outer planets.
Hmm.
And the personal planets, they move pretty quickly.
Okay.
The outer planets or the collective planets, they move slowly and they have a much greater impact on the collective uh,
Okay.
as well. And so I call them the spiritual planets actually, because I think they are there to really help us evolve on a spiritual level. And
Mm.
when there's outer planets that come together in particular alignments, that doesn't happen very often because they're so slow moving and they all move at different paces that this lineup doesn't happen very often. And this year we have several lineups with
Wow.
outer planets that indicate that there is something new beginning, right? There's a new era, in a sense, you could say, beginning because
Hmm.
these cycles are so long. So for those of you who know astrology a little bit, I'm just going to name the planets. Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto have come together in Capricorn at the beginning of the year in January. And that's like a 735-year cycle, right? So they
Wow.
only come together every 735 years, approximately,
Wow.
in the same sign, right? In
Okay.
And the last time they came together was like in the 1200 something, right? So this is a huge big deal, which means that whenever planets come together like that, that means that there's a seed that's being planted, right? Between
Mm.
those energies. It's like we're seeding something this year as a collective, right? Because you have to think about these planets are social and outer planets, which means that they're impacting all of us, not just the individual. I
Hmm.
mean, yes,
Hmm.
on an individual level, we also have our own moving that we're doing with it. But collectively, we definitely are also being impacted in that way. So that means that we really need to take a look at where are we at, right? Because Capricorn is a very down to earth sign.
Hmm. Hmm.
Says to
Hmm.
us, take responsibility, know what you, it's a very karmic sign in a sense. It's like, look what you have done so far and what you've gotten from that, like you reap as you sow type of thing,
Right.
right?
Right.
We
Right.
need to be very real about where are we as a society? Where are we as a collective? What have we been doing up until now? You know,
Hmm.
who's in power, and who are we giving our power to, right? And that's the thing. On an individual level, we need to learn that we are our own makers of our own reality. That we are the ones who are creating what's happening, right?
Right.
That
Right.
we're not victims of people out there who are doing things. It's very easy to give your power away to leaders of a country or to leaders of, you know, a religious sect or cult or religion in general. You know, like it's easy to do that because you then have the security that somebody is looking out for you, right? And you can
Yeah.
do the
Right.
work yourself.
Right.
But with this combination says to us, you need to take responsibility. You need to hold your own power. You need to look to see, what am I creating? What do I want to be creating in this world,
Okay.
right? And that's up to each one of us. It's not up to just a few people. And that's what's going to change, right? What's going to change is that right now, the way the social structure has been, that there's been sort of like the 10 percenters, right, of those people who have the power and who have the say over what happens and what doesn't happen. But I think that needs to shift. It needs to shift into a more global society. It needs to shift into a more, you know, in individuals actually having a say over, you know, like each one of us contributing to
Mhm.
what gets done, how we do life, right?
Wow. You know, and it's funny, not in a ha-ha way, but in a
Good.
divine way,
Mhm.
that the message that you're giving people right now, based upon the information that the universe is sending to us, on that, yes, we're individuals, but we're still part of a collective consciousness.
Yeah.
And that when we take control of our lives from that place, right, from a higher consciousness level, we all can move, and dynamic shifts can change. And that's happening in part. I mean, you have the, Black Lives Matters out there, all Black Lives Matter. I mean, the collective things around how we're dealing with COVID, where people are like, no, 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 we're going to wear masks. I mean, there's other people, there's a smaller group that aren't, but the majority of people are very taking care of themselves. And look, and again, that's a reflection of what you're saying, right?
Yes.
I have to protect. If I have it, me wearing a mask protects you. It's not to protect you from me.
Yes.
It's me for you. So it's a
Yeah.
higher level thinking.
It's like
Um,
really doing it for everybody.
exactly. Everybody,
Self, you're doing
right?
it for everyone. Yeah.
Let's get into some of the details here. As you said before, the alignment between Capricorn, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto
Yes.
only happens once every 735 years. I'm still like, that's still mind blowing. Um,
Yes.
you start with Mars is in Aries for 6 months this year instead of its regular 6 weeks.
Yes.
Tell us the importance of that.
Yes. So Mars in Aries is actually something, that's where the planet is in its own sign. So it feels exalted there. It feels very strong there. So, you know, the Mars energy is the masculine energy in the world.
Mm.
It has to do with the doing, getting something done, going after things. So what's interesting about Mars in Aries is that we're gonna have a lot of energy, and we're gonna feel like we need to be very direct about things and very assertive about things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing with this is that Mars is also connected to the wounded healer at this time, which has to do
Oh.
with us needing to heal the masculine energy, needing to bring the masculine energy into balance, needing to bring it into a place where the masculine energy can connect with the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical.
Okay.
So it's more of a holistic approach of the masculine energy rather than just, you know, one approach. Because
Okay.
the masculine in the past, if we think about history, right, the masculine has sort of like had the history of like domination and aggression and violence, and you know, there's been a lot of stuff like that going on with the masculine. Not only, but that's been a big part of the wounding in terms of the history of the masculine.
Yeah.
And so now we need to learn, how do we heal that? How do we heal the masculine that's wounded, that has to do with aggression and violence and dominance, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we approach the masculine in a more holistic way? And with Mars in Aries being in there for 6 months, that means we have a much longer time to connect to that and to work with that energy, not just in the outer world, but also within ourselves. Because when a planet goes retrograde, it means that we're working with the energy more internally on a more intuitive level, and it becomes more of a personal journey. So
Right.
each one of us will have this personal journey this year, between September and November of 2020, to really connect to your own inner masculine energy in a healthier way, in a more holistic way, to start to heal all the places in you that feel like feel out of sync or out of balance.
Mm-hmm. 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 Wow. And I want to make sure that people understand this, right? Because I think that people talk about, like, I think one of the more common retrogrades is Mercury in retrograde, right? And people go, oh my God, the world is ending and all that kind of stuff. And that's not it at all. I mean, I want to just hit on this point one more time.
Yes.
That when something goes into retrograde, when one of the planets goes into retrograde, it's a time to go inward, right? And process this stuff at a soul level inside. And it's not this outer thing happening, it's inner.
Yes.
So you don't have to be afraid of the word retrograde, which is my point, right? People get, oh my God, retrograde, the fire alarms go off. And it's not about that. It's actually a good thing.
It's very misunderstood, the retrograde phases. I call it a feminine yin energy. A retrograde is usually going within and a processing internally. So that's a very feminine approach. And so it's interesting, right? Having a feminine approach to the masculine energy that needs healing, right? So that's what we're going to be doing this year. And the last time Mars was retrograde in Aries was in the 80s. I think it was in 1988. So a long time ago. So again,
wow.
These are long cycles that we're encountering right now.
Huh.
It's something that really, where we really need to pay attention. Like, how do we work with that energy? How do we look at how we do assertiveness or aggression? We need to take a look at that and do it in a way that aligns with our spirit, our emotion, and our mental, physical being.
Well, I'm loving this. And again, everyone, I want you to understand too that the times that we're going through, match that up to what Sonja's talking about, right? The energy feels connected here, right? So do that inner work. Seek out people like Sonja who can help you navigate these shifts in energy, and where you get more knowledge and understanding about what's going on. Like, if you feel like, oh my gosh, this what's happening, you can just drive yourself right into fear. And we're, in actuality, as I was saying at the beginning, Sonja, about something that you say all the time, and that is you're wanting people to live their lives from a place of love, not fear.
Yes.
And that's with the information that you're sharing with them. Now, at the end of the year, December specifically, you said Jupiter and Saturn will align with Aquarius.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is
another big cycle? One more big cycle, that's a 20-year cycle.
Wow.
And Jupiter and Saturn, when they come together, they're both social planets. So they have a lot to do with our social economic structures and systems, and how we're connecting to that over the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because it starts to happen in Aquarius, there's a lot of new stuff that's going to come in. I think there's going to be a lot of new inventions There's going to be a lot of new ways of looking at how we deal with society.
Mm.
And it's a process. This is something that's very important to remember. Even though there's a lot of shifting going on this year and a lot of seeding, all of this takes time. Nothing happens overnight. I need to make sure that people understand this, because
Right.
it sounds so exciting. We're in this new phase, right? But it doesn't mean that we're going to be done with it next year, right?
Right.
We're moving through this, and there's going to be waves, right? Waves of things happening. And each one of us needs to make sure that we're moving with the waves in a healthy way, right? That, again, not going into fear, really staying grounded and centered within yourself, and making sure that that you understand that all of this is for the better of the collective and for the planet. I mean, we're really talking about the future is about the whole planet. Like getting. I mean, my vision is for this, that countries as we know them right now won't even exist in the future, that it will just be people living on the same planet, right?
Right.
Yeah, different, cultures, different languages, different whatever, but we're all going to be, it's going to be about being on the planet, not being, like I am this, or, like holding on to your identity in terms of like, I don't know, I'm green, red, yellow, white, whatever,
Right.
or I'm Brazilian, I'm European, it's not about that, it's about knowing that we're all human beings, and that it's about that, right? Like bringing the human race together as all humans. I think that's the long goal, the long haul of this.
As you talk about that, it just reminds me of the vision that Gene Roddenberry had when he created Star Trek.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm getting sci-fi. I'm going to sci-fi, everybody. I'm going to sci-fi now. And that was the vision, right? Where humanity came together, and that, yeah, the cultural aspects of our past remained, like the foods. I mean, who doesn't like great foods from different places around the world and how it was prepared, or the music and all that? So it took the best of all that, eliminated the other baggage, the other labels, and the division and poverty and all these kinds of things. Because we do have enough resources, right? I mean, we do. So I love that vision. So I'm going to keep holding it, and you keep holding it,
Yes,
and then we're going to make it happen.
yes.
What are some of the things that we need to do? I mean, specifically now to the end of the year, like what are some of the things that you kind of see that we need to do right now, and then as well as prepare for the new year into 2021? Because again, as you said before, we've got all these different shifts happening. We have all these different things happening that are going on, that are going to happen.
Yes.
It's just whether or not we resist or flow.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's key here. One of the things that, astrology is only an interpretation of what we see out there in the universe, right? The way it can manifest in a lot of different ways, and people have free will. Everybody has free will. So each one of us is actually creating how we want that to manifest, right? And so it's important that, first of all, we take responsibility for being part of that creative process, right? That's important. The second thing that's important is to make sure that you keep your mind connected to your heart. Because when the mind gets disconnected from the heart, we tend to think things or do things that are not beneficial for everybody involved. And so I always say, one of my favorite things is to ask, spirit, or ask my higher self for whatever is the best for me and everybody else involved. Right? Asking for that, asking for that guidance. And I think tuning in a little bit more, tuning in with ourselves so that we can listen to the guidance that we're getting. Because the physical body is really quite incredible. It's an incredible instrument. Yeah. Every cell of your body is intelligent. And there's intelligence everywhere in your body. So being able to listen to that intelligence is really important, and to not get sidetracked and distracted by everything else that goes on out there in the world, because everyone's going to be dealing with this differently. Everyone has their own way of moving with this. Some people are going to be much more fearful or much more anxious than other people. And so it's important not to let yourself be, taken into the outer world by people who are maybe in a fearful place, right? So make sure that you take care of you. Take care of your fear level, take care of your anxiety level. Make sure you are centered and grounded, and that your heart is wide open, and that you trust. I think trust is a really big part of this process, that we know this is a seeding that's happening this year. And as we're trusting the process to unfold, and we're doing our best to contribute from a heartfelt place, from a holistic place, we will be able to create a future together that will be way, way better than what we have experienced up until now. And, history will tell you, if you look back into history, you will see that even though there are pockets in history that are, where stuff happens that's not that amazing, right? Like wars, violence, or something where things happen that are pretty dark. There's still always the evolutionary process that happens within that. And we need to understand that, and we need to trust that. We need to know that, 100 years ago, people lived very differently than they live right now. And we have so much to be grateful for, and I think gratitude is also a really fantastic tool to work with over this year and over the next year. And I think that gives you a nice segue. You want it?
I know, right? Wow, that just so happens that we're going to have a guest that's coming on that's going to be talking about gratitude.
Yes, I know.
Sonja, tell us where people can connect with you.
You can go to my website at astrologercoach.com.
Okay.
You can also visit me on my Facebook fan page. That's astrologercoach.Sonja Francis.
Okay.
I also have a Twitter presence, which is Sonja Francis, and then I have an Instagram presence, which is Astrologer Coach, and I have my own YouTube channel as well. I record videos twice a month, so you can join me to hear about what's going on a monthly basis. And that's I think it's YouTube / Astrologer Coach.
Okay. Well, we're going to post all of that information into the feed so that people can contact you. Everyone, please, this is an important time throughout the next 6 months and then even into 2021. These times are, again, as Sonja was saying, won't come back around for another 735 years. So take advantage of this, dig deep, get a guide like Sonja. You can contact her and she can help you, again, navigate these times so that you can benefit and come out of this with clarity and not frazzled. You'll be in the center of love, not fear. And because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Sonja, thank you so much for being here. Will you come back?
Yes, of course I will come back.
I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of it.
Me
So
too.
thank you so much for being here. And we're going to have you come back at the end of the show. We're going to kind of do a little round robin and kind of talk about a couple of things. So stay by, okay? All right, everybody. Listen, we're going to take a brief commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking gratitude with a dear friend of mine, D'Angelo Thompson. We'll be right back.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And we are back. Now, my next guest has worked in the creative arts field for over 2 decades, and he has been nominated for 3 Daytime Emmy Awards and was a winner for The Wendy Williams Show. He has authored and published several books. He has mentored many, many other artists like himself, and he continues to expand his life personally and professionally. In his new book, A 100 Days of Gratitude, D'Angelo Thompson provides a way to inject purpose, awareness, and unshakable joy in all aspects of your life. And he should know this has been a part of his daily practice for over a decade, with an awareness of it since his late teens. Now, this is kind of personal for me as a publisher of this magazine. Because I've known D'Angelo for many years. This has been a dream of mine, and I could not be happier that he is sharing this knowledge with the world. So with that, it is my pleasure to welcome to Soulivity Live my friend, my brother, my counsel, D'Angelo Thompson. Hey, D.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, man, you know I've been waiting for this. Everybody, listen, again, if you have any questions during the show, post them right here to the live feed. We're going to get to as many of them as possible. D'Angelo, my first question is, you've written several books.
Yes.
The Enhanced Beauty series is one, which is fabulous, everybody. If you're looking for details around in-depth in terms of beauty and how to enhance the inner beauty that's within you, please go out and get these books. They're available at Amazon. This book is different for you.
Very different. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about what led you to write a book on gratitude.
I think like most people, especially in the Western culture, we are continuously working hard towards our goals, and we don't take a beat to say thank you to the universe. We don't take a beat to say I am grateful for. And I found that no matter what I accomplished, I was always in a place of like, it's not enough. And I remember thinking to myself, I need to get out of this headspace because I'm not acknowledging what the universe has been giving to me and what doors have been opening for me. I'm not in a place of gratitude. So that's what triggered it.
Wow. Now, this book isn't just a read. This isn't just something that, okay, well, I'm going to read it and then I'll set it down.
Mm-hmm.
This is about us and you encouraging us to create a practice of gratitude, like meditation, like fitness, like anything else.
A lifetime.
Right. Tell us what is the practice of gratitude? Give us some of those specifics so that people can kind of understand what you're talking about here.
I can give you perfect examples. I'll give you one really good example. When there were moments when I was like really in my head about something, feeling like, oh, it's not enough, I would literally walk towards someone with one arm. And literally I would go, huh, that's interesting. They'd be happy and bubbly and walking around. And I'm like, interesting. That person is in a state of gratitude. I'm here with all my lens, with my creativity, with my ideas, and I'm still not grateful. So for me, it's a daily process. I wake up, I do my meditations, my prayers, and then I write 10 to 20 things I'm grateful for.
Wow.
And that is daily, no matter where I am, where I'm traveling, where I'm working, that book goes with me, And 100 Days of Gratitude is meant for you to literally read one thing a day that you're grateful for 100 days, I want to read this to you because as Sonja was talking, which was a wonderful interview, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
It was amazing. I turned to gratitude number 39, and it says, I am grateful to know peace, even in times of war on the human spirit. Be grateful and pray in times of peace, but also be grateful and pray in times of war. Two diverse energies remind us to be strong, kind, forgiving, and loving of one another. This not only applies to different nations, but within your family, toward your neighbors, city, state, country, and even on a global scale. So this all ties into what she was saying earlier. Gratitude is more than just a simple practice. I'm feeling very hippy bippy. You know, it's really about, it's almost like planting a solid root. No matter what storm comes at you, you will not be shaken.
Wow. I love that. I
Thank
love
you.
it, man. I mean, again, and everybody, I mean, these are these things, right? I mean, as we were talking with Sonja about, you know, that we're going through turbulent, challenging times. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It
Right.
means that we have to approach to what you're talking about, D'Angelo. We have to approach life differently than we have before. And probably one thing that all of us can do is be more grateful and thankful for the things that we do have. And there's always, my grandmother, as you know, we both have roots in the South.
Yes.
You know, our forefathers and mothers, there's always something to be thankful for. Always something. Over the years, you know, you and I have talked about different challenges in our lives. And we've talked about specifically for you that you had to battle depression, and you talked a little bit about you know, mental scarcity, this ego-driven thing where there's lack and limitation of resources for ourselves. There's not enough, right?
Right.
How did you use your practice of gratitude to overcome those states of being?
Gratitude, how it got me out of depression was really being present. Being present, period. Not thinking about the future, not dwelling in the past, but being present. But in being present, listening to what the universe is telling me. If the universe is telling me to move on from a situation, from a person, from anything that is not elevating my highest self, then I have to honor that. And in honoring that, I started noticing that I wasn't unhappy. I wasn't seeking, I wasn't searching. I was solid with who I am, and I was solid in the people I had around me, that also we were nurturing one another, you know? So that's how I got out of it, really being present.
Wow. Do you find, again, being present, it feels like, and it sounds like for you, that when you got into this state of being present, that you're in the state of feeling gratitude for the things that you have,
Yes.
including yourself, your health, you know,
Yes.
the health that you have, that it's an inward driven thing, right?
Definitely.
And that your
Definitely.
outer experience was a reflection of how you felt internally.
Exactly. It is like Sonja said, it's eternal work. And what we're doing now, specifically this year, as Sonja mentioned, we are working deep within ourselves. And
Right.
COVID was the perfect storm for all of this to happen. And yes, many souls lost their lives. We know this,
Yeah.
you know, but all of us are it's a pivot, right? It's a time to reconnect. It's a time to deal with our own demons, you know, and whatever we held in such high regard, whether it was a job, whether it was money, whether it was situations within our culture, within our society, it really made us all dig deep, you know?
You know, you should know about this. You were on the first episode of Soulivity Live, and you had just gotten over COVID at that point. So this isn't just something that you're talking about. This is something that you actually lived through, right?
Correct.
Where, you know, and I mean, how many days were you down with it?
It was 8 days, but I honestly think that I was sick many days before. It just, my body, when I started to settle into my body and realize what was going on, it was 8 solid days of just not in a good place, health-wise.
Wow. And
And
so
after
you
that,
use this practice yourself, where it's like you said, you got in your body, you got present. Like, okay, what am I supposed to do here?
what do I need? Breath was my answer. I needed breath. So I needed to breathe better. I needed to figure out ways to move about, what to drink, what to eat, because I had no appetite, you know, and the vitamins I needed in my body, you know. And I think on a spiritual level, the universe is telling us that as well. What do you need? And what we need is gratitude, you know. And with gratitude, we can move into other areas of our life, you know.
Right, because it just leads to so many different things. I mean, gratitude leads to love for the people who are close to us in our lives. It creates love for whatever work and resources that we have. I mean, there's so much that's there.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, you and I are both well traveled.
yes.
I mean, we want to be even more well traveled, but we are well traveled. One of the surprising things that I learned about you was that some of your biggest lessons in gratitude was when you were abroad.
Yes.
Can you share some of those experiences with us?
Honestly, I think no matter where I've traveled, people have opened their lives, their homes, their hearts to me, and taught me how to open my home, my heart, and just when they're traveling in the States, like, come live with me, stay with me. What do you need? Let me cook for you. Because it was the same amount of kindness that they gave to me. And these are friends in Europe and coming from parts of Africa, Central and South America, the Caribbean, Canada. They were just always so open and giving. So it really started to shift something in my brain, like D'Angelo, take that into your life. Open your doors, you know, whether you're in your home or not, just say, hey, here's the key, whatever you need. Wow. That was the biggest lesson I think traveling taught me. And one friend in particular was just really open, you know, with his home and with his life. And as we faltered a good relationship for almost 16 years, I learned to do that in other parts of my life as well. So yeah, travel has been a huge education.
Well, you know, we've had friends of yours on the show, and I know that I could speak for them and say that they're all grateful for you as well.
For them.
That the feeling is mutual. And again, this goes with what you're teaching people about gratitude, right? Gratitude begets gratitude, which begets love, which begets love. So the more that you focus on these different things, that's the more you receive and the more you give, and it just grows and grows and grows, right?
Creates miracles. It creates miracles. I can honestly, you know, walking through life and practicing gratitude, things just happen. I'm like, how did someone know about my podcast? Or how did someone know about this or that? Whatever opportunity it is, it seems like it comes out of the ether, but it doesn't. It comes from your core. It comes from where you are, your state of being, you know?
Right. All right, so we've got the book. People, they've got the book. They're reading through the book. Give us, I know, right? 100 Days of Gratitude, everybody. The link is in our chat, so you can go get it. Give us 3 ways that people can practically use the book every day and build their own practice of gratitude.
3 things. Get an empty notebook or journal, and you will start at least 1 to 10 things a day that you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be a big thing. If you set your feet on the floor, I'm grateful for that. You take a deep breath, I'm grateful for that. So that's one thing. The other thing is using the book, opening it up, and each day looking at gratitude and putting that into your consciousness. The third thing is when you're walking through your life or driving or whatever you're doing throughout the day, and you encounter someone that's negative, instead of reacting to them, send them a blessing. You know, say, bless you. I'm grateful for this interaction. Whatever lesson I'm meant to learn, that I learn it. That is how you have gratitude in your life. I very seldom now lose my temper. I very seldom now are confrontational. I'll give someone some direct eye contact if they're doing something that I'm not happy about, to let them know, like, this is unacceptable, but I'm not being reactive,
Wow.
and I'm not choosing the victim stance. I'm choosing more of being a survivor, a fighter.
Right.
It's interesting that Sonja said Mars, I'm an Aries Taurus, and we are strategists, and we go into battle, and whatever that battle is. And for me right now, it's really about engaging in gratitude.
Wow. D'Angelo, so glad that you are here. So glad that you wrote this book. Before we start our roundtable, tell us where people can connect with you.
Yes, two things. Instagram at DTBeauty71.
Mm-hmm.
And also I have a podcast called Gratitude is a Journey on anchor.fm. So anchor.fm/D'Angelo/Thompson.
Great. Well, we've just posted those to our live feed.
Thank you.
Go get the book today. And I mean today, everybody. I'm coming for you if you don't
Thank
get
you,
the
God.
book. 100 Days of Gratitude by D'Angelo Thompson. It's at BookBaby right now, but it's going to be available at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and those other outlets soon, correct?
Amazon, you can pre-order right now, actually.
Oh,
Yes.
all right. Excellent. And we have D'Angelo's Instagram and the podcast. So go check them out. Gratitude with D'Angelo Thompson. Also, we got one more little thing.
Yeah.
The three of us were kind of talking about it earlier today. D'Angelo, you're going to join the Soulivity TV family soon, right?
Yeah. The show is called Beauty and Gratitude. So for what I've been doing for almost 30 years as a makeup artist, and then gratitude and marrying the two, I think is really important.
Wow. So Beauty and Gratitude with D'Angelo Thompson is going to be starting here on Soulivity TV. It's going to be a live show starting July the 17th. So watch this space for D'Angelo's new show. Oh man, this just keeps getting better and better, everybody. There are so many connections, guys, around Sonja, what you were talking about and what D'Angelo was talking about. Sonja, what came up for you when D'Angelo was talking about gratitude specifically?
Oh, I loved what D'Angelo was sharing, because I think it's so perfect for what we're experiencing right now. I mean, I've been in a state of gratitude most of the time as well, just because I'm so grateful for what I have and the people that I know and how I'm able to connect with the world. And that thought every day has made it so much easier for me to be quarantined, or to be dealing with the rules that are currently in place on how you need to engage and how different it is. And it also helps with becoming more adaptable, I think. And I think adaptability is really key right now with what we're experiencing. We need to learn to adapt.
Right.
Saying that it's not the smart and the intelligent and the strong that survive. It's the adaptable that survive.
Wow.
Yes.
That is so true. That is so true. And D'Angelo, I mean, again, you've lived in part personally what Sonja was talking about from an astrological standpoint, where look, there's these things going on in the universe. It's time for us to do our inner work so that we can be adaptable to what is about to come, what is unfolding, and manifest this life for ourselves. How did that feel to you? I mean, I can say that it's spot on for you, but
Yes.
what resonated with you?
I have a thing I say to myself: either evolve or die.
Mm, mm,
That's one thing I say to myself. The other thing I say to myself is like, if I was to leave the earth tomorrow, what have I left here? What is my legacy?
mm.
And I think more so now that even with makeup artistry, my legacy is gratitude. I want people to know that I walked a life of gratitude and I extended my hand to others, period.
Wow.
Period.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. We can just end the show right on that, but we're going to keep going here. Dee, we talk about growth, right?
Yes.
We talk about growth all the time, and that growth isn't something that you do when you feel like doing it.
Right.
It's something that you do every single day. May it be a baby step or a leap,
Yeah,
right?
and it can be painful. Growth can be painful.
Oh man. And that the in this book, and I can't wait to really dig into it, is gratitude is a healing balm
Yes, it is.
for that pain. You know, Sonia, you were talking about the masculine and the feminine, and
Yeah.
that there's this balance of energy that we have to learn to work with. That's part of this growing process, and that the feminine provides this healing balm for the masculine to make sure that everything is moving in divine direction,
Correct.
right? um let's talk a little bit about that a little bit more, in terms of, Sonia, what kind of practices do you do yourself around making sure that there's that balance and that you're giving yourself the self-care and that healing balm that you need to move through those difficult times?
Yes. I mean, I have a lot of different practices. I just do whatever the day requires usually. But one of the things that I do is I have a technique that I use that helps me to let go of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a way for me to kind of allow things to be the way they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very often as human beings we have these desires to change things, or we have the desire to want something different from what we're currently experiencing, and
Yeah.
that is of course doubly so when there is adversity or when there is things happening in your life that are painful. You want to get away from it, right?
Right.
One of the things that I've learned through this technique is that it's really important to let yourself be with what is
Wow.
first. Doesn't mean
Mm.
you shouldn't change things if that's required of you, right? Or that you shouldn't, like do something different if that is required of you. But the first step is that we need to learn how to be with what is first. And the way I do that is by just allowing myself to welcome whatever is, right? So if I have a feeling that I want to run away from, or if I have a thought that puts me into resistance with something, I allow myself to acknowledge that and to welcome it, to give it
Right.
space. It's a little bit like gratitude in a way as well, right? Like being grateful for that showing up, right?
Right.
To say, yes, this is where I'm at right now. And by doing that, by giving this space, you can then start to, first of all, you become more present, right? Because you're not running away from yourself or from the present moment. So
Right.
you're more in the moment. And the present moment is so powerful because the present moment is the moment of creation, and it's where we create the future. So if you're running away from the present moment, how are you going to create a powerful future?
Mhm.
See, this, everyone, again, the synergy here, right?
Yes.
Between higher consciousness thought, right? You have Sonia and you have D'Angelo, two different individuals, two different journeys, but they're talking about the same things, right?
Sure.
We're talking about becoming self-aware, being, right? It's the old adage of be, do, have, right? You got to be first. You got to understand and become self-aware, so that leads you to doing the things that are appropriate,
Yes.
Right.
and that are not reactive, that are responsive. And if you want to know about that, go check out Iyanla Van Zant's current series on being a spiritual warrior.
Yes. Yes.
Powerful stuff about being responsive from that place of being. And then you'll have the life that you want, right? That's what passion, purpose living is all about. That's
Right.
what it's all about. All right. So before we get out of here, we have some, I'm going to keep you guys up on the screen because we got some great. And so people who are watching, you've lucked out because we got some bennies coming because you're watching the live show.
Right.
Now, last week we kicked off our exciting new collaboration with Beyond Words Publishing. And of course, we told you about how happy we were about all that. Well, because of the collaboration, all of you get a benefit from that, and that is we're doing book giveaways. We talked about this on our last show, and that we're going to be announcing our first winners, and we're going to do that today. So where's the drum roll? I mean, we need a drum roll or something around here. So I'm pulling up the winners now. Our winners for our first book giveaway are Mary Lovelace of New York, New York. Congratulations, Mary. And also Jen Fienza of Helmet, California. Congratulations, you guys. Listen, each of you will be receiving Love Come Home by Jennifer Adams. We're going to be sending that out to you, so look for it. But the fun is just beginning because, as we were talking earlier, D'Angelo, you have a little something, something that people are going to be able to receive because they're watching this show.
You know, I have one book to give away. So whoever writes into you, Brian, they'll get this book. I'll sign it with their name and personalize it for them. And also, I'll give away two. So.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So everybody, if you're on the live feed right now, if you write in to Soulivity Magazine on one of our live feeds, we're going to pick a winner. I'll reach out to you, get your information later, and we're going to give two. Woo! Two people are going to get books, and you get a book, and you get a book, and you get a D'Angelo, you know how I love books, man. You know it. But the fun is still going because Sonja, you have something that you're going to be giving away. So what is that?
And just to be in the spirit of abundance, I will give away 3 memberships of my Star membership.
Wow.
1 month. So whoever writes in, the first 3 people get a 1-month Star membership, which includes access to my next webinar on July 12th. It includes daily, weekly, and bi-monthly forecasts. And it also includes a lot of discounts on my astrology readings, my astrology courses, and my coaching healing sessions.
All right. All right. So I am putting a little note here in the chat so that, you know, if you want to be a winner, write into the chat now before we end the show so that you can win a gift. Wow, guys. Thank you so much. Wow. Now, listen, everybody, look. If you weren't a winner this week, don't worry. We'll be giving away other great gifts and books throughout the next month. So make sure first, join our book club on Soulivity Facebook page. So go there, go to Facebook, do a search for Soulivity Magazine Book Club. It will pop up, join, and that will automatically enter you into our contest for giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys for that. That is amazing. It doesn't get any better than this, people. It doesn't get any better. Listen, before we get out of here, I just want to say coming next Saturday, we have even more great inspiration for you. We will be re-airing our Soulivity Live special From Then Till Now. It features some special interview clips with some amazing guests, including model, actor, producer Garcelle Beauvais, actor Geneva Carr from CBS's hit series Bull, author Reza Eslan, and a whole lot other phenomenal people. So don't miss this show. Also, remember, don't forget to check out Soulivity TV, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week just for you. Airing live tomorrow is our Yoga with Michaela show at 12 noon, and live with Jesse and Melva, or as I call them, Mom and Dad, at 5:30 right here on Soulivity TV. So until next time, on behalf of my fabulous guest, Sonja, thank you. D'Angelo, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, I'm wishing you a life full of passion, purpose, and high quality living. Do not forget, go post on our social media right now if you want to win one of the 2 books from D'Angelo or one of the 3 amazing subscriptions to Sonja. So do that now. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.